Over in the States, Andretti out, Mansell in. Andretti has announced that he will not be racing for the Newman Haas racing team in 1993, and his replacement will be none other than Nigel Mansell. Andretti hasn't said yet what his plans for 1993 are. Is he heading to Formula One? But Mansell said he's looking forward to racing over here in 1993. Teams all in on their active car. Williams' active ride and traction control has made it a standout team in 1992, but teams are pushing to create their own versions. Audi and Peugeot have committed to funding their respective teams, and Benetton have told its drivers they won't feature on the car in 1992, but it's making big strides for next season. And that's all the news we've got for today. Let's get to the British Grand Prix. We're here live for the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Now, we didn't come here last year. We were at Donington. But this year, the track layout is finished. And we are here for a wet Grand Prix. And we're going to take a look at the starting grid ahead of today's Grand Prix. Brand new layout, of course. Will it breed good racing? Let's find out. With Ayrton Senna on pole just ahead of his teammate Damon Hill in second place. The McLaren of Game again tucks in behind the Williams. He has definitely been best of the rest. But he's close in the championship with Berger just behind him in fourth. Eric Comas takes up fifth ahead of his teammate Thierry Boutsen, with a Lacey again out-qualifying his teammate Nannini, slowly starting to get the pace with that car, but they're in 7th and 8th. 9th is Gianni Morbidelli, and he's ahead of his teammate in the Minardi in 9th and 10th respectively. Footwork, Lockout 11th and 12th, with Tyrrell locking out 13th and 14th. March have locked out 15th and 16th. And Benetton all the way down in 17th and 18th. They've taken their traction control off because it doesn't work. But Jordan lock out 19th and 20th, and Lotus lock out the back row. It's 2x2. We're ready. It's damp. It's stopped raining, but the wet tyres are on the car. We've got the two Williams ahead of us, and we are away. And it's not a great start, but Berger seems to have got an even terrible start. He might have stalled it. We'll get back on that in just a moment as we head towards turn one, but we're sliding. The car's coming past us. Senna leads, but he's got Damon Hill all over the back of his car. Is Hill going to put a move on the championship leader and his brand new teammate? I think he'll think better of that as they head through the complex here. And Hill's out very wide there, and that's going to drop all momentum he had down a straight. And that appears to be that. But that's Eric Comas in third place. And he has got Jean Lacey alongside him. Doing fantastic. But Senna leads the opening lap of this British Grand Prix. But Game's having an absolute shocker of a first lap. And he heads down the straight. He's losing place after place. And he's off the track. He's off the track and he's into the gravel. He's going to keep it rolling in a not very deep gravel traps here. And he rolls over. He's going to get back up. He's going to lose even more places. He was... an awful start, awful start, and it appears to be getting worse and worse for the current world champion. He has got no speed. What's happening? Has he got a problem with the car? That is everyone, absolutely everyone is coming past. And there is a Minardi there with no front wing, but we'll look at that in a moment. But Game is having a shock. Let's have a look at the start, and that's Boutsen into the back of Gerhard Berger, who appears to have stalled it on the grid, and he's caught a few cars with him. But, that's poor. That is poor and unfortunate for Thierry Boutsen, who's lost his rear wing and he's out of the Grand Prix. That is poor from Leligier. But there wasn't really much he could do. And Gates still finding his way down about. And that's a big crash from Paul Belmondo. Wow. And he's lucky to still be in the Grand Prix. Jeez. But it's Senna who leads the first lap, and he's put 2 seconds on his teammate and 4 seconds on Eric Comas, the next non-Williams car. And he's flying here. He loves these conditions, and he dances through the right left sequence Left, right, I should say. My apologies. But Senna has got it all his own way at the moment. I must point out that, on a side note, the dry tyres come up in the replay. They're actually on wets. They are actually on wets. But this is Eric Comas, and he's got the Ferraris behind him of Alesi and Nannini. And Alesi has struggled massively this year with the car. He says it's nowhere near as competitive. Well, it's not nearly as competitive as it was last year. Eric Comas dances over the curb, and that's put Alesi right onto the tail of him as we head through the final sector of this track. And not a clear opportunity. I thought Alesi was going to dive up the inside there, but he thinks better of it. He snatches out of it, and we still remain with the Ligier driver ahead of his countryman. But we are still on board here with Game, and he is suffering massively. We've asked the McLaren to confirm what the issue is. We believe it's their active ride. The system believes it's dry, when the track is obviously absolutely soaking wet. So that could be a contributing factor to why he is incredibly slow here. But he's going to come into the pits. It must be for dries. Only thing he can try, surely, as he heads into the box now, and he's going to come down into his pit lane, and I assume the mechanics are going to have a little glance to see if anything's the issue, but McLaren are absolutely certain it's the active ride thinks it's dry. A clean pit stop here. They're on to the dry tyres. This should hopefully help the car be a bit more settled, and fingers crossed he can make his way up, but he's down in 17th place at the moment, and Senna is still absolutely flying in this Grand Prix. Possibly coming in, Game's pace in the first few sectors appeared to have jolted everyone into the pit lane, the mechanics at least, and Senna is going to come down into the pits, and he's ready for a set of dry weather tyres. Are they going to double stack Hill? Is Hill going to come in? There's enough of a gap for them to do that, so we'll have to see. Berger's stricken McLaren behind us in the garage there. And Hill comes in. Hill is in. He is into the pits. They're going to double stack, which is not actually true. He just dives straight past him and goes into his own garage, but that's fine. It's all fun and games. But Hill is in as well. The track is dry enough, but that means Eric Comas leads the British Grand Prix. And as you can see by the no Ferraris behind us, they have come into the pits. Both cars. Pretty much everyone. There is a Minardi in the background of Morbidelli who has decided to stay out, but that Senna is the next car. But it's chaos in the pit lane, and in comes a Leighton House, which is looking a little bit more liveried this weekend, but that still might not do too much to their finance. But that's Schumacher in. But now we look at Senna, and Senna is in. We didn't cut to Senna for very long, but we're on board with ourselves, and we've got pace now. We've got good pace now, up into 14th after a few cars have stopped. We managed to undercut a few, I should say, and we have actually got some okay pace now in the dry conditions. Thank God, because it was a shocking few laps in the wet and he's won Grand Prix in the wet, so it must be in the car. But this is Alesi. Alesi is flying. He's been in the pits. He's got dry tyres. Now this is surely going to undercut him on Eric Comas for third place. And here is Eric Comas. We're sure he's coming into the pits this time round for a set of dry tyres. Now Senna has caught him massively. That is the difference between wets and dries. So I think as Comas and Ligier waited a lap too long, should they have come in. But here's Senna dances round the Minardi. And that's Martin Brundle, who's yet to come into the pits. And that, I believe, is Morbidelli, who's yet to come into the pits. Oh, you can see the speed difference as Alesi begins the start straight now. And he's got Brundle. They stay out. Brundle stays out on the wet tyres. Deary me, what's going on at Benetton there? Because Schumacher's been in. But it's Alesi. Is he going to go up the inside? He is going to go up the inside. But where's Comas? And there he is. Flashes past. He has jumped Eric Comas. Nannini not so fortunate, and he remains in 5th place. But Jean Alesi is up into 3rd, and a podium would be magnificent for the Ferrari driver. But we have got pace. We're up into 9th place now. We've got Nannini 3.9 ahead with just a handful of laps to go, but we are chasing. We have got good pace. Now, if the race had started dry, I reckon a 3rd place was absolutely on the cards. I don't think we've got the pace of the for the Williams today, but here's Damon Hill doing a fantastic job in second place. That's exactly what Williams will want from him. They don't want him hounding Senna, really. They just want a second place. Let Senna stretch the lead as much as possible, and if he can do that, surely a drive will be his for 1993. But he's in second place, robbed of a win in Canada due to brake failure. But this is Senna. And we believe he's going to come into the pits again because the Williams team is out in the pit lane. Maybe fueled, maybe expecting something else, but they've got the time. He'll come out in the lead, whatever he does. Hill may not be so fortunate. We believe Eric Comas was stationary in his box for a lot longer than everyone else around him. Eric Comas is probably going to the end, and this is Damon Hill in. He'll come in for some tyres. Lacey's in. Lacey is in the pits, and Comas does stay out. Comas will stay out, and I believe he's going to split the Williams, and that's Morbidelli in the background. He appears to be splitting. Will he split the Williams? Because that will give Damon Hill 2 cars to overtake, but he's passed, and there's Morbidelli passed. And that's Damon Hill in the background, and he is going to have to pass 2 cars. Williams have done him dirty here, but he will have to pass Morbidelli and Eric Comas if he wants to finish in second place at his home Grand Prix. Let's see how this transpires for the last couple of laps. We imagine he's going to have a lot more pace, but here is the current world champion, and he has got Martin Brundle in his sights. Look at the speed that he's carrying. Brundle only pitted once today, and he's done well. He's in the points, but surely he's going to fall victim to the McLaren, who I assume the active suspension has righted itself. Now he's on dry tyres, but the spray still remains as he darts to the inside and up the inside of the Benetton of Martin Brundle, and that puts him up into what I believe is 6th place. A great recovery drive from the McLaren driver. He's going to lose a whole of points to Senna, but it could have been a lot worse. And this is a Lacey who is starting to catch. And by the looks of things, Hill must have passed more. But Deli's round. Hey, Lacey's round. And is that it? Is he going to get going? No, a Lacey is out of the British Grand Prix. That looked like a car failure. And that is eyes out of the Grand Prix. He can have nothing, no luck. But here is Hill. Senna has just started the final lap of the Grand Prix. Damon Hill passed Morbidelli on track. We haven't seen it. My apologies. But he has got Eric Comas in his sights, and this is what will be the final lap of this Grand Prix. Can Damon Hill pass for second place and 18 World Championship points as he flies through turn 1? He'll have Eric Comas in his sights, but he needs to be calm. There are still damp patches on the track, and Eric Comas will desperately want a second place. But if I was Eric Comas, I may not fight it too much. It's almost inevitable, but a third place would be fantastic for Ligier. But this will be where it happens, as Hill gets a strong run. He doesn't need the slipstream, and he pulls alongside. He's alongside the Ligier. Is he going to dart up the inside? He dives up the inside of Eric Comas, and is that into second place? It is into second place. Fantastic work from Damon Hill. Is Comas going to come back at him? He's not. He thinks better of it. I thought he was going to dive up the inside. He's changed his mind. But Damon Hill up into second place. But this, your race leader, your soon-to-be race winner, Ayrton Senna, who has dominated today, 2 stops, still leads the Grand Prix. Had to overtake not a single car in order to get there. Ayrton Senna wins the British Grand Prix and extends his lead at the top of the championship. Damon Hill, with a fantastic last lap move on Eric Comas, will come home in second place. Got a lot of traffic here though, but that won't matter too much. Up into second place for Hill, third for the Ligier of Eric Comas. But Morbidelli had a quiet Grand Prix. He's going to come home in 4th place for Audi's best result since partnering with the Minardi team. 4th place, fantastic. Nannini will come home in 5th place. Game really struggled in the latter stages of the Grand Prix, so Nannini was safe. He crosses the line. Good chunk of points, but here we are. We're going to come home in 6th place after a fantastic recovery drive from a shocking first few laps. But we finish nigh on 50 plus seconds behind Senna, and Brundle will come home in 7th place. But your race winner today and the World Championship leader, surely it is a foregone conclusion now, especially if it remains like this. But your British Grand Prix winner is Ayrton Senna. And that's it. That's the final classification here. Senna confirmed as the winner in a Williams 1-2. Only their second 1-2 of the season. Fantastic. Comas a fantastic third and Morbidelli a fantastic fourth place. Nannini doing his best for Ferrari in fifth. Few cars were lapped. A couple of retirements as well, Berger especially, and Boutsen off the start. But and Alesi, of course, but the World Championship standings. Ayrton Senna extends his lead at the top of the standings with Game in second place. They're really cutting adrift from Nannini in third. Berger stays on 48 but remains fourth. Brundle strong in fifth place. And Damon Hill is in eighth place now with more points than Nigel Mansell, who left the sport on 25. Comas darts up to ninth with 28 points. Fantastic. The teams, Williams reclaim the lead of the Constructors' Championship ahead of McLaren, but it's still very, very tight. They're a distance away from Ferrari, who have got Benetton behind them, but with their recent form, I don't think that's under threat. They want to be worried about Ligier in fifth place, and Tyrrell, a strong fifth, but Ligier in 55 points, 5 ahead of Tyrrell now. Minardi up to 44 points in seventh place. Jordan, a fantastic 37 with their strong, lucky results recently. But if you have enjoyed the British Grand Prix, make sure you thumbs up, subscribe, and join us next time for the German Grand Prix. Bye-bye.